very large survey that's a multinational survey. So I want to take you through some of the things that we have experienced over the last 30 years and also then give you a flavour of what we're experiencing now. There are essentially two fisheries. There is a fishery for toothfish, but there are two species of it, and that takes place with long lines. And there's a fishery for krill, which is the larger of the two groups of the larger fisheries, and it takes place with pelagic trawls. So radically different approaches. And this is just a picture of toothfish on a plate. What we've faced over the last 30 years, the Commission has dealt with in a way that is based on science and based on precaution and the precautionary approach. When it started in the 1980s, there was no management at all for the fisheries that were then taking place in the Antarctic. The first challenge then was to put them and an ecosystem monitoring program in place. In the 1990s, we faced a new fishery, toothfish, and we faced an attendant problem of illegal and unregulated fishing on that toothfish. We put in place regulations to restrict that. We also found that these longline fisheries were catching a large number of albatross and petrels. That was solved over a period of about 6 years through a combination of scientific experiment, engagement with fishers on the ground, and I'm pleased to report that this year we recorded the lowest ever number of seabirds being caught. It's almost negligible now. It was in the tens of thousands, it's now in the maximum tens. In the 2000s, we faced a call to protect vulnerable marine ecosystems from the UN, and CCAMLR responded in implementing those sorts of systems. And traceability systems for all toothfish products throughout the supply chain called the Catch Document System, which is the CDS. And all those have been really successful. But we now face the new reality. What's happening now? We have increasing interest in the Antarctic. Testament to your interest here. Increasing access to the Antarctic, which we've heard about through builds better vessels with higher ice strengthening qualities, and open areas in the summer. We find climate change a core part of that discussion. Changing member interests. And finally, we have this debate about marine protected areas, which is ongoing. So just to give you a currently, don't worry about what the colours mean, but all the areas on that map are open for research, exploratory, or immature fishing for toothfish, and for research for toothfish. Now, the interesting thing that you'll notice is that many of these are very close to the continent. Previously inaccessible, they're now accessible. Precautionary about its management. It puts in. It requires a lot of research to be done in any of these areas before it could open them up for a proper fishery. Nevertheless, the exploration places now that would have been 15 years ago. There's a new fishing method that's been invented by a number of companies, including particularly Asian companies, and that processing is fish. Poland used to fish for krill, it now doesn't do anything. So there's been massive the management of the Antarctic. Climate change, we've heard a little about that. This is the most recent paper that's come out, suggesting that krill, previously distributed in the north, has now moved down to the south. There's no suggestion that there's a decrease in the amount of krill, just its distribution at this point. And finally, CCAMLR has made a commitment to developing marine protected areas. The first one was put in place in 2009, and the second, the Ross Sea MPA, which is the largest marine protected area in the world of any description, was put in place in 2016. All these marine protected areas have a network of different types of activity that you can take place. For instance, in here, this is prohibited. For fishing, this is allowed for fishing, and this is research fishing, to compare and contrast and to use research to understand what we're doing to the environment. There is a lot of build to developing an MPA proposal. You have to get the science together, you have to identify what your objectives are in different areas, and particularly collaborative science that builds together